So this week I've been driving the 2021 Mercedes-Benz AMG GLE 63S with 4Matic. That's a lot, let's get into it. So a little history, the GLE used to be called the ML and was actually originally a joint venture with Mitsubishi to build an SUV. The ML was first introduced in 1997, and in 1999 they first brought out the ML55 AMG, and this kicked off a whole new standard for performance SUVs. It wasn't until 2015 where they renamed the ML to the GLE, somewhere in the third generation range. This is the 2021 GLE, now the fourth generation, and it slots really nicely between the smaller GLC and the larger GLS. So there are a lot of options in configuring a GLE. I've already mentioned we're driving the AMG version, but let's touch really quickly on the models and trims, see what we're dealing with here, and then we'll get into the exterior and jump into the review of this one. All right, so there are a bunch of different ways you can configure this thing. First of all, the GLE can be had in both the coupe design and the standard SUV design, which we have here. The base GLE is the 350. You can also get a GLE 350 4Matic. Next up is the GLE 450 and then a GLE 580. Next you jump into the AMG trims where you have the AMG 63 and the AMG 63S, which is what we have here. Now I've driven a lot of Mercedes vehicles in my time, a lot of different AMG vehicles. I've driven stuff like the E63 wagon, the E63 sedan. I've driven the C63. I've driven the GLA, the GLC in a couple of different configurations. I've even driven the AMG GT, which was a riot. But this is the first time I've actually ever driven the GLE. So I'm super excited about this one. Let's look at the exterior and really get into this review. All right, we're going to start off with the exterior here, looking at the front end and that AMG specific radiator grille with vertical louvers, which reaffirms a clear membership of the AMG model family. You also get that AMG badge proudly represented there in the grille, so no mistaking AMG. Another quick way to tell that this is an AMG by looking straight at the front end is the AMG specific front bumper. You get a dynamic arrow-shaped front end and small approach angles. The front bumper features a dynamic A-wing design, which includes black air intakes. So looking up on the hood, you actually get what Mercedes dubs the power domes, which overall enhance the overall look of strength and power. Moving along the side, you get side skirts and flared wheel arches for a more muscular look on this vehicle. The side mirrors are power folding side mirrors, which fold on lock. Of course, once again, you get badges on the front fenders here. V8 bi-turbo 4Matic definitely lets you know what's under the hood and the power that this thing can deliver. And if there was any question at all about the power of this vehicle, there's no mistaking those massive wheels with big AMG brakes behind it. Those are 22-inch wheels. On the standard GLE, you get 21-inch wheels. These are the optional 22s. And those red painted AMG brakes just really set it off with this vehicle. So moving around the back of the vehicle, you see the newly designed rear bumper with AMG specific details like this rear diffuser and trim strip in silver. You also get a specific AMG exhaust system. This one has the quad exhaust trims, which I think look really good. You obviously also have the badging on the rear, starting off with an AMG badge and then the GLE 63S badge. And of course you get a distinctive rear spoiler, which rounds off that sporty look of this vehicle. All right, with that, let's talk about the trunk and the cargo space that we have in this SUV. So this is a really good sized cargo area. The GLE is actually a 3-row SUV, but if you get it in the AMG trim, you're only getting the 2 rows. You do get a retractable luggage cover standard on this vehicle. This one's hidden away in the extra compartment underneath this floor. Your total cargo area is 38.2 cubic feet behind that second row. And that is a 40-20-40 split second row, so you can fold that down. And then you have a total of 80.3 cubic feet of cargo volume. So not only can this thing haul, you can actually haul some stuff in the back here. So that's the cargo area. Now let's take a look under the hood and see what's powering this thing. Now the engine in this AMG is packed with horsepower, but it's also packed with technology. This is the 4.0 liter bi-turbo V8 engine. That pushes 603 horsepower and is matched up with the AMG Speed Shift TCT 9G transmission. The engine is paired for the first time with an EQ boost starter generator. This is placed between the engine and the transmission. The system provides an additional electric output of up to 21 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque. It also powers the 48-volt onboard electric system and helps optimize efficiency. And that's done by helping the idle speed control and the start-stop functionality. So there is a lot that goes into this thing, and obviously the thing to do now is start it up, tear around the neighborhood so that you can hear it and see how it feels. But first we're going to jump inside, take a look at the interior, at the technology, then we'll take it for a drive, then we'll talk about some price and what this compares with, and then we'll wrap this video up. Let's do it. All right, and we're going to start off with the back seats of the interior right now. All right, so to start off with the rear seats, you do have a lot of luxuries back here, a lot of amenities to look at. We obviously have the same leather and suede seats, which we'll talk a little bit more about when we get up front. Very nice, very comfortable. I have a ton of knee room here, a ton of headroom here. Again, this is only the 2-row and not the 3-row. So we don't have a 3rd row back there to test out. But just from my experience with other vehicles looking back here, there's not a ton of room. So either you're sacrificing some leg room up here in the 2nd row, or the 3rd row is definitely going to be a very tight, probably child only situation. But let's not harp on that. Let's take a look at the technology we have here. First of all, we have dedicated sunshades on these windows here that can be rolled up and down through the window switch here. You get dual zone climate control back here with your own dedicated vents and a vent here in the door seal. You get a plate here for an optional infotainment system back here in the back seats. You get heated seats back here, which is obviously nice. You get your own USB Type-C port and a 115-volt household type plug. You get the armrest with built-in cup holders. And again, just a very comfortable place to be. We obviously have this panoramic sunroof here with the shade that's nice. Being in Texas, it's hard to justify something like this. I basically never open these things, especially in the summertime when I'm reviewing these vehicles. It's just not something that appeals to me personally, but if it is something that you enjoy having, this thing has a pretty nice panoramic sunroof. With that, let's jump into the meat and potatoes. Let's jump in the front seat and really see what this interior is packing. All right, so obviously this is a really great interior. It is a Mercedes. It is a very expensive Mercedes. You do get very nice black leather AMG seats with suede in them. We also have the AMG carbon fiber trimming in here which obviously for a sporty vehicle looks really good. You can see faintly the multicolor ambient lighting as it pulses through here because that's the setting that I have it on. I got a couple of shots from that at night, so let's check those out really quick. Back to these AMG seats, they are 14-way power adjustable. They are heated seats, they are massaging seats. They are heated massaging seats. Very nice stuff, very comfortable for long distance drives. I really enjoyed them. Another thing that is heated and cooled is the cup holders here. So with a push of a button, you can either heat or cool your cup holders. With that, let's jump into the tech of this vehicle. There is a lot. I probably won't touch on everything that this vehicle can do. Again, it's just a lot, and that would make for way too long of a video. I'm sure it's already going to be long enough with what I am covering. But let's jump into the tech, starting out with this screen that you get. So first of all is the driver information screen. That's an 8-inch high-resolution color display. Very nice looking, very informative. You can change with the push of a little dial here on the steering wheel. You can change what that display is showing with just a few flicks of the thumb over here. It's not as customizable as some other driver information displays I've seen. You can also go into the system and change some colors and stuff with it, but it's a pretty clean setup nonetheless. And moving over to the infotainment display, again, another 8-inch touchscreen display here, high resolution color. And I really like this bezel that Mercedes is doing in all their vehicles now. It's one giant, it makes it almost look like one giant display here. You do get very large bezels, but it's a pretty nice concept, and I think it looks very futuristic and techy, which I'm definitely into. But back to this screen here, there is a bunch of functionality built in here. Again, it is a touch screen. You do have built-in navigation, satellite radio, obviously, media connection as Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatible. You got comfort settings. This is the AMG, so you have the AMG track pace and performance pages. You have the Mercedes-Benz apps and settings for the car. Looking at the comfort settings, here's where you can do your massaging seats. Again, very nice. Your seat comfort, your ambient lighting goes here, your energizing comfort, and this also changes some of the lighting in the vehicle, and your energizing coach, which I haven't actually played with and don't know what all that does. Then you have the track pace, which is made for racetracks only. Fine with that. We have track race, drag race, telemetry, and different options here. You can change your heads-up display, which we'll talk more about when we drive it, but you can change the content there. Again, there's just a ton of stuff that you can dive into with that. And then this is your performance pages. The other one is made for obviously on the track. This one is more for just seeing some performance stuff. We'll get into more into that as we're driving as well. You can see we don't have the car on, so we can't really dive into that. So you also have different themes here. You have adventure, where it changes the information you're seeing here as well. You have trip, which shows your navigation over here and changes what you're seeing over here. Lounge kicks on that radio. You're still seeing about the same stuff on your other display. Standard is just some vehicle information and some more information over there. Let's go experience, some more vehicle information, and changes a little bit over here. So all these are just a lot of different themes that you can set up this whole thing for. Race and track. And you get a whole new display over here. And then finally you can create your own, which is pretty nice there. So all of that can be controlled through the touch screen, but you can also control it through the command pad here. So this is like a trackpad. You don't have multi-gesture controls here, but you can jump around menus and stuff. You have a back button, a home button, obviously. And then you have a lot more controls here, including navigation, radio, telephone, favorites, your volume control here, dynamic settings, which we'll touch on more, your camera, and a quick access for some vehicle functions. Down a little bit further, once again, we'll touch more on these as we drive, but you have your exhaust note here, your spring stiffening, raising and lowering the vehicle, traction control, and some manual settings there. Moving back to the center console, it is a pretty decent size. You have a little tray here. You have a USB Type-C port. You're not seeing most of this because it is very dark down there, but that's the center console. Moving back up here again, talking about technology, you have a wireless phone charger. So you just throw your phone in there and it begins to charge. You also have USB Type-C to interface with your infotainment system, and you have USB Type-C for just Bluetooth and charging. So you have the touchscreen, you have the control here. You also have other controls, including gesture controls. So you can do different gestures that should control things with the car. I don't know if they're just not set up or what the deal is. Every once in a while I get a pop-up saying, do you want to set them up? And I haven't, so that's that. And you also have a controller right here. This little dial will control what you're seeing on the screen and allow you to thumb through menus. A really cool system. I quite like it. So the standard stereo system in here is a Harman Kardon Logic 7. This one does not have that. This has the Burmster stereo system, which is an upgrade for sure. And all in all, it sounds really good. All right, and let's take a really quick listen to that Burmster stereo system. Obviously, we're not playing any radio songs because I'm not taking that copyright strike hit, but let's listen to this.
Perfect.
All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that quick little music video edit. Let's get back to the review. Let's talk about the drive. Let's get into it. All right, well, let's start it up. Listen to that exhaust note really quick, and then we'll take off. Push button start, obviously. We do have the automatic start-stop function, which I'll turn off really quickly. You can adjust your exhaust note with the little toggle button that I've showed you down here. So that toggles between balanced and powerful. So we're on powerful, and let's just give it a little bit of a listen. Sounds pretty good. Let's drive. So like I said, that AMG exhaust does sound good. This thing does have a lot of power, but obviously can handle a little bit of a circuit as well. So let's put it into Sport Plus. And yeah, without pushing it too hard, this thing definitely feels good, sounds good, stays very flat, even though it's a big SUV. I quite like it. So you have fully variable all-wheel drive, air suspension with adaptive dampening, and active roll stabilization, along with an extremely fast shifting TCT 9G transmission, which further enhances this top performer's dynamics. So you have more versatility in this vehicle than ever. Thanks to the new off-road settings, this thing can handle a lot more than it used to. And of course, your handling is thanks to that air suspension and some continuously adjustable dampening that gives it just the right amount of stiffness that you need when you need it, but not too stiff for day-to-day driving. This thing is a loud and aggressive beast, especially in that Sport Plus mode. But the great thing about this vehicle and pretty much all AMG Mercedes is take it out of that sport mode, put it into comfort, everything quietens up, everything loosens up a little bit, and it's a good day-to-day driver. You can still hit that gas. It takes a few more seconds, but you really boost hard. It's just a great day-to-day driver and a really fun, sporty, powerful vehicle. Now this does have that extra eco-efficiency built into it, and from my experience, it's cool. It sounds really cool, but it doesn't help too much. Maybe it does. I've been averaging about 12 miles to the gallon during my week with this thing. Of course, pushing it a lot harder and doing a lot more with it than I would just on my normal day-to-day. So if you own this, you definitely get better fuel economy than that. But me out here having fun with it, 12 miles to the gallon. You do get quite a bit of other safety features and driving features with this. Obviously, you get a nice radar guided cruise control, a lane keep assist system. So if you're out on the highway on a long trip or something like that, and you just want something that basically just helps you drive and keeps up with traffic, this will do that for you. But it's almost a shame to have so much of that in this vehicle, because this really is a blast to drive and is meant to be driven. And of course, keeping it in comfort is fine for most cases, but let's keep it in sport a little bit more than normal. Power is so much more immediate in Sport Plus. Obviously, that exhaust note, just great in Sport Plus. So I said it while reviewing the BMW X5, and I'll say it again with this. A vehicle like this really pulls at my heartstrings as a car enthusiast. I know maybe it's not popular to say as an automotive journalist, car enthusiast, to really enjoy a performance SUV. Everybody's got to have that small, tight, or muscle car vehicle. But in my case, I have a large family. I have to have something bigger, and having something bigger that has power like this that I can really have fun with just hits all the marks for me. There's not a ton else to say about the driving necessarily. It's, like I said, very powerful. The suspension is perfectly tuned. It stays very flat on corners despite being a big, heavy SUV. You get immediate power out of those corners. You can just have as much fun in this as any muscle car. And you can haul your family in it, which is pretty amazing. Now, if they made this with the 3-row, that would step it up even more for me, but I'm okay with it just being the 2-row as well. The heads-up display is really nice as well. Big, large numbers floating in the perfect position, nice and bright. Some of the things on it can be a little bit hazy, at least in my experience with it. I don't know if it wasn't tuned exactly perfectly for my seating position, but for the most part, it's perfectly crisp, and it looks just fine. And of course, you can dial it in and see exactly what you want to see up there. If you want to change if you want to change exactly what you're seeing, you can do that. It's just every time you take a corner and you get to accelerate again, there's just so much, there's just so much in this vehicle. It feels great steering in, it feels great powering out, and the sound, well, you're hearing it hopefully, so you get it, you get it. Again, there is so much that I feel like we're gonna miss out on this review. There's so much that this vehicle can do. It would take more than a week spent with this vehicle to touch on all of it. It would take way longer of a video than this is gonna turn out being to touch on all of it. I would love to have more time with it, put out multiple videos of everything that you can do in this vehicle. But the reality that we have here, I spent a week with it. I drove it as much as I could during that week. We're out here filming for as long as we can for the day. And I really hope you are enjoying the content. I really hope you enjoy the channel. If you do, please hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Let's talk about the price and a little bit about what competes with this, and then we'll start wrapping it up. All right, so talking about price of this one that we have here, the suggested retail price of the AMG GLE 63S is $113,950. That's the suggested kind of base retail. Obviously, we have some options on here. The Cellnet Gray metallic paint on this is an extra $720. The AMG carbon fiber trim is $1,590. We also have a carbon fiber engine cover for $1,600. We have AMG performance steering wheel in carbon fiber, which is another $900. We have the 22-inch AMG cross spoke wheels, another $1,250. We have rear side airbags for $420. We have the panorama sunroof for $1,000. We have 4-zone climate control for $760. We have a black Dynamica roof liner, which is another $1,600. We have the MB UX interior assist for another $200. We have the MB UX technology package for $1,450, the driver assist package plus for $1,700, the warmth and comfort package for $1,050, the energizing comfort package plus for $1,650, and the acoustic comfort package for $1,100. And then you add destination delivery for $995. Your total retail price for what I'm sitting in now is $131,935. Wow. So on top of all the performance that you get in here, there's ample technology and luxury and comfort. The day-to-day drive is really nice in this thing. You also have plenty of room for luggage or people. It's just an all-around great vehicle, and of course, for the kind of money you're spending on this, it's gonna be. But I really liked it during my full week with it. I'm obviously interested to know what you guys think. Y'all always have great takes on these vehicles, so leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the GLE AMG 63S. What do you think about its competition out there? Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, and thanks for watching, guys.